All right, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, the host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Also, the co host of GD Explanations, so check that out. It is Tuesday, which means we're just going to review a movie, and it is going to be 1984's The Ultraman Story. It's really the Ultraman Taro story, or Ultraman Story, but it's called Ultraman Story. And this was released, it was the first, well, it's mostly theatrical. Some of it was new footage. A lot of it was stock footage, but it works. They did a great job. It retells the origin and training of Ultraman Taro and makes him look a lot cooler than he ever did in his series. But before we get into that, please like, share, subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about Taro, either this movie or his series. It's probably one I'll never review because it's just too damn silly and hard to take seriously, even though he's never presented as anything less than an ultra. But yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of it. And let's roll. And once again, I've forgotten to start here. So the 80s were lean years for the Ultras. We hadn't had a live action show since 1980's Ultraman 80. There were some movies that were cobbled together of mostly stock footage, and then in 1984 we got this one, which has a lot of stock footage in it, but a lot of original stuff, and no human characters whatsoever. The Ultras are the main characters, and the monsters and the aliens, and it does do a retelling of Taro's origin and makes him, like I said, makes him look a lot cooler than his show ever did. But you don't see any of the human actors, none of the teams that the Ultra series are known for. I want to say this was released by Shochoku. Does it say? Runs 93 minutes. It was released July 14th, 1984. We wouldn't get another Ultra movie until I want to say 86 or 87's Ultraman USA, which now has been released on Blu-ray with a different dub than the original, which doesn't make one lick of sense to me. But who knows? We'll have to review that. If I can find the original dub, we will review that. And let's get on to the Ultraman story. So it does start out here. There's our director. There's little Taro, who wants to be like his brothers, who've all gone out and started fighting monsters. Now, the movie plays with this timeline a bit, but the Land of Light certainly looks very much like Krypton, with some alterations. But he's training, man. He's training. He's narrating this, working on his various beams and his kicks, and he's not very good at it because he lacks focus. But he's a kid. I mean, he's probably a million years old at this point in time. And so he says on Earth, Zophie, Ultraman, and Seven are all fighting. So this movie says they're all there together. Zophie's fighting Tyrant, which I couldn't get a good shot of. But Tyrant, this is from actually Tyrant's from the Ultraman Taro series, because the Ace Killer, who he looks a lot like, is from Ultraman Ace. So then we see Antlar, which is Bluestone or Baraji. Zophie tells them to go there. So they're combining a lot of the lore they've established because it wasn't there originally. Ultraman just went around destroying monsters. He'd been to Baraji earlier, as we saw the statue of him. So there you go. The first of the Ultra Brothers. He fights Antlar. It's a good shot. It just goes through. So the first stock footage shows up immediately. And you see the Type 1 or Type A Ultraman mask. Then 7 shows up. I don't know who he's fighting. I'm sorry, I'm not up on complete Ultra 7 series. The subtitles here are pretty funny. I mean, they try to make him sound like a little kid, and it works. I got this subtitle print off the Internet Archive. It's a good copy. I had it downloaded from whoever did it originally. I just don't remember who it was. But it's a good job. And there's a ridiculous monster that lives there on, I guess, with the Ultras on their planet. And his name is Dokun. So Taro decides to bully him and kicks him around. And then all of a sudden, Dokun gets mad at him and Taro runs away. So he essentially trees Taro the way a chicken treed Sheldon Cooper in The Big Bang Theory when he was young. What a whiner baby. So his mom comes up. Goodness gracious. Geez, what's his mom like? From the 50s? But he realized he's not a bad kid. So they make up, and the Ultra Mother says, "You're a well-behaved boy." Now it's canon here that these are Taro's parents, even though all the rest of the brothers call them Ultra Mother and Ultra Father, Mother of Ultra, Father of Ultra. And there he is. So, but it's canon, and they're related to Seven. He's related to Seven somehow, cousin or something. But I was told by Andre Dubois that the Ultra brothers meant like brothers of, were brothers in arms, more or less, more than they're actually related as brothers, because of course Leo and 80 are barely remembered here. So there they go over the good monsters, Miklas, and little dumbass doesn't realize that they're Arg. So off they go, and they give him the discussion of how monsters are formed here. And then Taro decides to practice, and we see a montage. He grows up, and now he's got his, I don't know what his beams are called. Again, a failure as a true Ultra fan. But Taro, and then his father answers the question. You let your mind. And now we see that Ace and Jack are on there now. Return of Ultraman is now Ultraman Jack. This is the first time his name Jack was used, I believe. It might have been in '79. Now that I think about it, and that with the Ultraman Zophie movie. But Ishiro Honda directed this movie, these two episodes, and you can kind of tell the young. So there is him using his version of the Spacium Ray. Yep, because this was supposed to be a sequel to the original Ultraman, but then they changed it, probably to make more money off toys, which I'm sure they did. Kaboom! And there's Ace, who is probably my second favorite Ultra after the original. He's probably tied with 80, but he's got some interesting headgear that the poor stuntman had to get used to in those first couple episodes. But this is about when the budget went down. The monsters had more fire than laser beams or animated rays. The Ultras got them, but mostly the monsters shot fire. So the Ultra Mother is concerned about his scolding, and father says, "Nah, he's all right. He's all right. Be all right. Rub some salt in it." Now we watch him with Ultra 7, more stock footage. There's the use of the eye slugger. Ultra psychokinesis. I think sometimes the subtitlers went a little overboard. And then we get King Zarus, which is the first Ultraman or Return of Ultraman episode I ever saw. It's very good, and the monster is really good. But yeah, Jack only sort of lost, but he got stabbed in the leg. So we see more of that, and he learns the Ultra Kick. So now he's training. And gets sent to Earth. So once again, it's a good-looking movie. I mean, despite I probably didn't show it, but there's King who gets sliced up, and Mephilas. He calls him a Mephilisian. That doesn't even work. But it's the same alien. The Ultraman suit Mephilas suit in Ultraman looks amazing. The Mephilas and King suits in Ultraman Taro do not. They're a sad shadow of themselves. See, I mean, it's sad. Zetong doesn't fare any better. But you do see how violent Taro can be, because he does punch his hand right through Mephilas. Now, I have heard that this Taro was supposed to be a comedy, but it's such a goofy comedy. It's hard to enjoy as an adult. If I'd have seen it as a kid, I probably would have loved it. Maybe. But yep. And then we talk about Yapul, and we see Leo and Ace. And these are about it for Leo and Ace fighting Red King. And I don't even know who Leo was fighting, but and there's Judah, the Emperor Judah, who is the bad guy of the movie. So we don't ever see him in his face, but he was in, I want to say, Andromelos, probably. Let me see. Does it say Ultra Galaxy? Yeah, the Andromelos TV series, which is those little 5 minute segments that were filmed on video or shot on video, and they look at. I've never seen the entire run. I should look, and that might be fun to review. But I'm telling you, the video elements were very basic in 1984. I mean, you've seen it, like they weren't any better in Japan than they were here. So training with his there's the well we do get look there's 80s Bolton who looks amazing. Taro's Bolton Seijin Jr. did not, but they dub in voices about them being connected to Judah, and he's the evil in this universe incarnate. So 50,000 years ago. And here's alien Hippolyte, and it just immediately captures all four Ultra Brothers, all five Ultra Brothers, who, except for seven, but he does get them eventually, and turns them in. I don't know if he just encases them. He must be. He doesn't turn them to stone. So, Father goes there and beats up Hippolyte for a while, then gives Ace his energy back, and he destroys him. Kaboom! See? All Japanese monsters blow up real good for the most part. And they're all happy. Now we go back to the Land of Light because they have to try to get his energy back. This is another one. I don't even remember what monster he fought, but it's the Ultra Dynamite that's about to be used. And there's the Grand King, fusion monster. Off they go to fight him while Taro's on Earth. But he's too much of a match for them, and crush the Ultra Brothers. And now we go into the planet Ferrant. So this looks like Mars from Ultraman Great, aka Ultraman Towards the Future, right? Yes. Which is fine, except that it's not as craggy as Mars is portrayed lots of times. But they fight him, and but nothing works because he's too powerful. And then off he goes. They're all together now. She tells him what to do there. Ultra, he should be Ultra Horns because he's got two of them. And there they go. Now this trope about absorbing all the power has, to fight a massive monster at the end has been done about 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 more times in tons of Ultraman movies since then. We'll find them, but this was the first time it was really done. So then you get the song, and he gives him the Ultra Kick, Cosmo Miracle Ray, and he blows up real good. The Ultra Brothers are back, and now he's a true Ultra Brother, and they go back to the Land of Light, M78, and we see them all together, except that you don't see Leo or Astra or Ace or Julian. So go figure. Those costumes couldn't have been in bad shape. Well, at least 80. And then we're done. And here's our preview for next week, but that is it for this Ultraman story. Let me know what you think about it. I'd really appreciate it. And if you've watched this far, thank you. I really appreciate that too. But until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out.
いに実現。新作映画でやってきた。ウルトラ兄弟が、太郎が新怪獣グランドキングと対決。ウルトラマン物語。
守る男のふるさとはここ、ウルトラの星。そびえ立つウルトラのタワー、鳴り渡る愛の鐘、鐘を打つ愛のせ。
初めて明かされる少年太郎のすべて。父が心を、母が愛を。兄弟たちが戦いを教えた。戦士ウルトラマン太郎。戦え、戦え、兄弟を超えて正義のために。ウルトラマン物語。